Scan a black and white square with your phone, and a website appears in less than a second. It sounds simple, but that same technology now powers more than $1 trillion in payments every year. Appears on medication packages in hospitals to help prevent medical errors, and has also become a tool for one of the fastest-growing types of scams on the internet. That technology is the QR code, a system that, for nearly 30 years, has not required anyone to pay licensing fees, yet has become one of the most successful inventions of the digital age. Today, join Mido Discovery as we explore the remarkable journey of how an idea inspired by a Go board became a universal language used around the world. The story of the QR code did not begin with smartphones or online payments. It began inside a Toyota factory in 1994. At the time, a single vehicle could contain tens of thousands of different parts that had to be tracked throughout the manufacturing process. But traditional barcodes could store only a limited amount of information and could not support Japanese kanji characters, making inventory management increasingly difficult. Masahiro Hara, an engineer at Denso, was tasked with solving this problem. He needed to create a code that scanners could recognize even when it was rotated or viewed from different angles. During their research, Hara and his team noticed how the black and white stones on a Go board created distinctive patterns that were easy to identify. That observation helped inspire the positioning markers that appear in the 3 corners of modern QR codes today. But what truly allowed QR codes to spread around the world was another decision. Denso Wave kept the intellectual property rights but chose not to charge licensing fees, opening the door for the technology to be adopted globally. So what made QR codes superior to their predecessor? Traditional barcodes can only be read in one direction, from left to right, much like a single line of text. Because of this, their storage capacity is limited to around 20 characters, enough for a simple product code. QR codes are different. They store data in both horizontal and vertical directions, more like a full page than a single line. A standard QR code can hold more than 4,000 characters, enough to store a long website address or complete contact information. The 3 large squares in the corners, inspired by Hara's design, also allow QR codes to be recognized from many different angles. In contrast, traditional barcodes must be scanned in a relatively precise orientation to be read correctly. But storing more information is not the most impressive feature. What truly sets QR codes apart is that they can continue to work even when part of the code has been damaged. So how is information actually stored inside those tiny squares? From a distance, a QR code looks like nothing more than a black and white square. But inside it are thousands of tiny data cells called modules. Each module has only 2 possible states, black or white, representing ones and zeros. Together, these modules form binary data that a scanner can read and convert back into text, a website link, or other information. The 3 large squares in the corners help the scanner determine the correct orientation of the code. But the most interesting feature is error correction. QR codes are designed to remain readable even if up to 30% of the code is covered, dirty, or damaged. That is why many companies can place their logo directly in the center of a QR code and still have it work perfectly. Yet for many years, those advantages were not enough to take QR codes beyond the factory floor. That only changed when billions of people started carrying a camera in their pocket. In 2017, a small change in smartphones helped open the door for QR codes to enter the daily lives of billions of people. Before then, scanning a QR code usually required downloading a separate app. That extra step limited its use to a relatively small group of tech-savvy users. But starting in 2017, smartphone manufacturers began building QR scanning directly into their default camera apps. This change alone made QR codes easier to use than ever before. Yet the event that truly brought them to the mainstream came from an unexpected place. In 2020, the COVID-19 pandemic turned touching paper menus, payment terminals, and printed flyers into a potential risk. QR codes became the perfect solution, allowing information to be shared without physical contact. Within just a few years, black and white squares began appearing everywhere, on restaurant tables, in stores, at parking lots, in airports, on event tickets, and inside banking apps. From 2021 to 2025, QR code usage increased by more than 300%. And that was only the beginning. In just a few years, QR codes evolved from a convenient tool into a key part of the world's digital infrastructure. So just how large has this become? In 2025, people around the world are expected to scan QR codes about 1 trillion times, equivalent to more than 120 scans for every person on Earth. In the United States alone, approximately 99.5 million smartphone users are expected to scan a QR code during the year. But the most remarkable number is in payments. Global spending through QR code payments is projected to exceed $3 trillion in 2025, a scale large enough to rank among the world's biggest economies. In China, more than 87% of mobile payment transactions are made through QR codes. From street markets to luxury stores, a small black and white square displayed at the counter has largely replaced cash and bank cards. What makes this even more remarkable is that most of these transactions take place using a technology that anyone can use for free. QR codes are no longer just a convenient tool. They have become part of the world's financial infrastructure. Not everyone has adapted to this rapid change. One survey found that only 15% of baby boomers use QR codes regularly. As more and more services switch to QR codes, this digital gap is becoming increasingly visible. But older adults are not the only ones at risk. As billions of people have become accustomed to scanning codes almost automatically, a new type of scam has emerged. A technology that humans cannot read with their own eyes, yet trust completely, creates the perfect opportunity for abuse. That trust is now being exploited through a scam known as Quishing, short for QR phishing. Its rapid growth has become a growing concern for cybersecurity experts. QR codes have become an increasingly common tool in phishing emails over the past few years. Even more striking, during just a few months in late 2025, the number of phishing emails containing QR codes rose from around 47,000 to more than 249,000, an increase of over 5 times. Nearly 90% of these attacks are designed to steal login credentials, often by impersonating IT departments or banks. And the victims are not limited to older or less experienced users. Many cases involve office workers who have become so familiar with scanning QR codes that they no longer stop to think before doing it. So what makes QR codes such an ideal tool for scammers? With a normal web link, users can at least see the website address before clicking. A strange-looking URL or a misspelled domain name is sometimes enough to raise suspicion. But with a QR code, there is nothing to see. It is just a black and white square that looks like millions of others. In many cases, users have no idea where it will lead until after they have scanned it. Scammers take advantage of this by placing fake QR codes over legitimate ones at parking meters, EV charging stations, self-service payment kiosks, or even on restaurant tables. And here is the irony. The same error correction system that allows a QR code to remain readable even when up to 30% of it is damaged is also what makes these scams possible. A fake QR sticker placed over a real one can still scan perfectly. The very feature that makes QR codes resilient also makes them vulnerable to abuse. And that is the paradox of QR codes. A technology created to help people access information more quickly is now also helping scammers reach victims faster than ever before. Yet the very same technology is saving lives in a completely different field. In a large hospital, thousands of medication doses are administered every day. A single mistake, giving the wrong drug, the wrong dosage, or the wrong medication to the wrong patient, can have serious consequences. QR codes placed on medication packages allow nurses to instantly verify them against a patient's medical record, and the system can immediately flag any mismatch. As a result, medication errors have been reduced by as much as 86% in facilities that use the system. In laboratories, every blood or tissue sample is assigned its own QR code and tracked throughout the testing process. This has helped reduce labeling errors by 67%, a seemingly small mistake that can lead to an incorrect diagnosis. It is the same black and white square that the human eye cannot read. But in the hands of a scammer, it can become a gateway to fraud. In the hands of a nurse, it can help prevent a life-threatening mistake. From an idea inspired by a Go board inside a Toyota factory, the QR code has become one of the most widely used technologies in the world. Today, it helps billions of people make payments, access information, and even help save lives in hospitals. But that same convenience has also made it a target for scammers. Perhaps that is the greatest paradox of the QR code. The technology itself is neither good nor bad. It all depends on how people choose to use it. If this video helped you see that familiar black and white square in a different way, don't forget to like the video and subscribe to Mido Discovery for more stories like this.